Hi everybody, this is Scott Dudley from SaaS Startup Stories, and today my special guest is Alan Silvestri, who's the founder and CEO of Growth Gorilla, who offer no BS content promotion and distribution for B2B SaaS companies. You ready to rock and roll, Alan?
Hey Scott, thanks for having me. It's great to be here, and yes, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Awesome, looking forward to it, because a little bit of a different topic today. But before we get on to actually what you're doing, let's start off, go back to the beginning of the company and your background and what initially got you interested in starting a content promotion and distribution agency.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started doing this around 2014, right? So before that, I've been working for 9 years in an office job from Italy originally. So 9 years in the office job doing totally the opposite of what I'm doing now. I was essentially like an electric engineer. So nothing to do with SEO, link building, content promotion.
Yeah.
But basically, so at the time I was playing in a band. So I started looking for like work online so that essentially could give me the freedom to go play and tour around with my band essentially. And this is what led me to find out about affiliate marketing, websites, SEO, and all of this stuff. So I started doing affiliate marketing. I've been working for a specific, like an authority website in the health space. And so the particular thing about that site was that it was producing like a ton of content. We're talking about at some point like 50 articles per month.
Okay.
And so what we started seeing with that site is that it wasn't getting any traction, even though the content was super high quality, written by like medical professional and all of that stuff. So we essentially came up with what the main problem was. The main problem was that we needed backlinks to the content, because the content was essentially sitting there and doing nothing because the competition was too strong. So this is what led me at the end of the story to discover link building. I came up with my own process that I started doing for this one website. We were able to bring the website to at some point like 500,000 views per month. That was great. So at that time, I started thinking, so if I'm doing this stuff for this one website, why can't I do this for multiple clients and also make more money at the same time, right? So I started with the idea of doing an agency with clients. I didn't have like any idea of the market, the target clients at the beginning, but then eventually I came across SaaS, right? So this is how I came across the idea of doing link building, content promotion, and distribution is an angle that I perfected moving forward. In the beginning, I was just doing simple, like plain simple link building, what like most other link building vendors are doing essentially.
I see. So I'm just sort of curious, what got you to target SaaS businesses or B2B SaaS in particular compared to something else?
Yeah, so B2B in particular for two main reasons. The first reason is that B2B typically has a higher purchase value. So this means usually that the clients have more budget as well, right? So they can afford a service that is a monthly retainer that has some kind of cost involved, right? So our packages start at like 3,000 a month, and not like all companies can afford that. The second main reason is that B2B has also a longer sales process for their customers. So this essentially this kind of fact here is the main reason why I think SaaS companies in particular need to rely a lot on their content, because they have quite a long sales funnel. So they need the top of the funnel content, the middle of the funnel content, and the bottom of the funnel content. And since what we do is essentially taking that content and promote it, we want to work with companies that rely a lot on the content and give essentially like a lot of value and importance on the content from a revenue standpoint as well. So, and the reason why we choose SaaS specifically again is also for a couple of extra reasons. The first one was my brother at the time was working as a SaaS copywriter, and he still is actually. So he was telling me like a little bit about the market, the clients that he was working with. It was for the majority kind of young people like my age, right? So I could also relate with them. were talking the same language or very similar, right? And so yeah, it was like cool people that I could do some good work for, and also have like a good relationship as well at the same time.
Yeah, plus it's a lot better to niche down to a particular area rather than just be like for everybody. So I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So how did you get your first 10 customers?
Yeah. So actually what I started doing as soon as I decided, okay, I want to try and get into SaaS, I was doing at the time a training course by Brian Casel called Productize. It was a training course that was teaching you how to create like a productized service, because that has always been kind of like my dream, to have a service that could run without necessarily my help, right?
Yeah.
So I started doing this, and one of the first step in the training was to do like customers interviews to essentially come up with the main like pain points that a specific market has. So I started interviewing SaaS marketers, SaaS founders, to figure out what these pain points were. And this is also when I noticed that link building was one of the main pain points, because a lot of SaaS are doing content. They're also quite good at the content. They are good enough at content strategy. They're doing marketing. They're doing all sorts of things. But the one thing that not a lot of them have in place is a system to consistently bring in the quality backlinks and promote the content. So this is also what gave me the idea of focusing on SaaS, and also focusing on only doing this one particular thing for SaaS companies.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, sorry, keep going. Yep.
I was going to say, I found the first client actually from one of these interviews. So basically, one of these founders was like, yeah, I need link building. Is this something that you do? And I was like, yes, I know how to do this for like any kind of site typically. So we started working together. I offered like a very super low price. I think I was charging like $400 a month at the time, which is absolutely nothing, but it was good for me to learn, to perfect my process, to also get to know more people, right, in the space. So I started doing this for this one client, started getting results for them. And then I published the first few case studies, got some referrals from this one client. I also started publishing and posting in SaaS Facebook groups where more SaaS founders were like hanging out basically. And this is how I found the next like 3, 4, 5 customers. Then it kind of started snowballing from there. I got a little bit more well known into the community. I also started doing some cold like outbound outreach. So either cold emails or some inbound stuff like podcasts like this one, for example. They've been like really helpful for me. And also I've been publishing on Twitter, and that's been helping quite a lot. But yeah, for the most part, it's still referrals, I would say, and word of mouth in the space. And that's, I guess, part of the reason why niching down, I think, is a successful strategy as well, because at some point it's only just a number of companies that are in the space, and they start to know like your name and what you do in there.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah, sorry, what I was just going to say before was that that's a great idea to interview those people to find out the pains rather than just guessing them yourself, because usually if you try to guess them, you'll guess them wrong, whereas once you hear it from them, you know, and there's a pattern, repeated pattern, and you know you found the sweet spot, and you know that there's a definite demand for it.
Yeah, exactly. Something else, because sometimes I get clients that come to me and they're like, hey, could you do this for us, or could you do this like different kind of approach to link building, or like a different kind of service? So for example, I got a client that wanted us to come up with linkable assets. So they wanted us to actually create the content, and then we could use that content for link building. So we started doing that for them. It didn't really work super well compared to a normal process that we do. So then I started talking to the other clients that we have, and essentially none of them was really like interested in that. For the most part, what they wanted was us to continue promote the content that they already have on the site, because they want to rank for those specific keywords that can bring them signups and demos and customers, right? So this is something else that kind of taught me the importance of talking to people and figure out what they really want. Because some clients think that they might want something, but at the end of the day, it might not be the actual thing that can help them.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, so yeah, tell me a little bit about or a lot about the Growth Gorilla content promotion service and how it benefits B2B SaaS companies.
Yeah, so essentially what we do is we act as a fractional content promotion team, basically, for the client. So we try to basically just come in, take the content that the SaaS company is publishing and find the best way to promote that content. So what we do differently compared to most others link building services or vendors like marketplaces is we rely heavily on strategy. So we try to really position ourselves as an extension of the client's team. So they are publishing a lot of content. The problem with this content is that they're publishing maybe 4 new articles per month. So it kind of looks like a staircase, right? The problem between this, so the content publishing and link building, is that content publishing is linear. So you publish 4 articles a month, 4 articles the next month, 4 other articles the next month. Link building and content promotion is more exponential. So it starts off very slow and then it sort of like compounds and explode, right? So what most companies do is that they keep publishing and publishing and publishing, and then they start doing some link building, but then they get to a point where they think that they have put out 80% of the effort and only gotten 20% of the results. But this is just because because of the exponential curve of link building and content promotion. So at this point they get discouraged and they just quit and stop doing it without seeing any results.
Yeah.
So we noticed that the best way to make SaaS companies successful with this stuff is to convince them of the importance of having a strategy that can keep them and ride the curve for the long term, right? So for this reason, we only do 12-month agreements with companies. We only want to work with companies that can focus with us for the long term, essentially.
Yeah.
And we start off with what we call a roadmap. A roadmap is our analysis of all the pages that they have published already and the new pages that they will be publishing in the next 12 months. And then we have a specific process that we follow to pick the pages to focus on for promotion and link building so that we can give them the quickest increase in traffic and signups in the shortest term possible. That's typically in the next 60 to 90 days. So we work looking at the 12-month period, but we focus on quarterly sprints, essentially. So we focus, let's say, on 12 pages every 3 months. We try to rank those pages as high as possible. And typically those pages are also the pages that are like already converting for them. Yeah. So we match the analysis that we do, we match it with their sales data so that we know that the pages that we're building links for are also pages that are converting and bringing ROI for the clients. So in a nutshell, I would say the main like differentiator for us is the strategy aspect, and also the fact that we want to work basically as a partner for the client for the long term.
Makes sense, yeah. Okay. All right, so what would you say, why does content without promotion not work? And how is your service different from the common concept of link building?
Yeah, I would say some of the things are the things that I already mentioned. So the fact that clients keep publishing and publishing. So at some point you would get to what we call the content graveyard, where it's basically just like a bunch of articles sitting on the site and doing nothing for you. Some of the content sometimes can rank for keywords that have like very too little competition. And that's mainly just because of the fact that they are ranking for keywords that are not competitive, but most often than not, those keywords won't also like be like a revenue producing for you. So it doesn't do a lot for you to rank for these keywords. So you would probably get to a certain point where you want to rank for keywords that are more competitive. And what you will face at that point is competition. So nowadays there's so much content being produced out there on the web that essentially any type of topic has already been covered. Yes. You will find the ultimate guide on absolutely like any topic and everything out there. Yeah. So it's really difficult to stand out. so yeah, at some point, the only thing that can push you up the rankings is going to be more backlinks, because that's still a very important factor for Google. So yeah, I would say what we do is that's different to other link building agencies or vendors, is instead of focusing just on selling you the links that you want because you think that they will work, is we help you figure out what kind of links you need for which kinds of pages on your site, so that then we can help you increase your traffic, signups, and revenue for the right pages instead of the wrong ones, basically.
Because most companies wouldn't have any idea which pages to focus on, really, would they? Which are the best pages in most cases.
Yeah, exactly. Especially for companies that are publishing a lot of pages per month. I just got in touch with a new client that are publishing like 20 to 25 articles per month. So when you're publishing so much content, it's really difficult for you to know where you should focus your promotion effort, especially if you don't have like a team or a system in place that's just focused on doing that, right? Because that's the other thing. Most SaaS companies have the content team, they have the publishing team, but they are lacking the promotion team. So they're missing the last step that's very important.
Yeah, the most important part of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But do you help them create content at all, or you're not involved in that at all?
No. So what we do is we make sure, so our clients, essentially clients, to be able to start working with us, they already need to have the content and the content strategy in place. And that's very important for us. We want to work with companies that already know where they're going with their content. They need to have a North Star goal with their content, right? So that then we can essentially just come in and do our next step to make sure that their content effort are maximized, essentially.
Makes sense, yeah. All right, so just curious, what are your thoughts on the deluge of SEO agencies? There seems to be like thousands of them, and why do you think most of them overpromise and underdeliver?
Yeah, so I would say the main reason that I think this is because most SEO agency, like most marketing agencies, focus on doing everything for everyone. First off, So when there is no focus, essentially every situation and every client is going to be different. When that happens, they can typically systematize or replicate the results for every client, and so what happens is that these results tend to suffer. So this is another reason why I think niching down and specializing has been very good for us, and it can be good for literally anyone, because especially nowadays the market is so fragmented that you can literally focus and specialize in like the tiniest bit of a marketing process, or like a fractional niche. Like you could be, for example, the SEO agency for crypto companies now, right? It's something it's new and it's going well now. So you can see there's opportunities for niching down everywhere. And I think being a generalist is typically the main problem with these SEO agencies.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, so when it comes to content, what are your thoughts on, let's say, quality compared to quantity? Because there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah, so I would say, as with everything, even with the links, I would like always go for quality over quantity, essentially, because at the end of the day, as I said, even if you publish 20, 30, 50 articles per month, you won't have the time to promote all of them. So you really need to be focusing on the best ones where you think you might have the opportunity to win in the space. And that's going to maximize your effort and make sure that you can, essentially see the results that you expect. So what I would do for a company is essentially try to publish maybe on a few different topic clusters. Let's say you have a B2B sales prospecting software, right? So you help people do sales prospecting, find emails, find contact details, and all these things. What I would do is try to publish content that's covering like a few different topic clusters. So maybe you cover sales, you cover like inbound marketing, you cover outbound marketing, you cover social media. So then after a while, you will see which of these topic clusters is bringing you more like signups or visitors, right? So once you know this, what I would do is focus mainly on the 2 to 3 topic clusters that are going best for you, so that this is going to help you like really be focused. And yeah, like go essentially all in with your efforts on the topics that have the most potential for you at the end of the day.
So you wouldn't recommend just focusing on one topic? It needs to be like a few at least.
I think at the beginning it can be a few. It's actually better if it's a few, especially when you're not really sure maybe about like your product market fit. So you can do some exploring in there as well, and figure out which content is bringing you your target customer. That's the best customer as well. So yeah, some exploring in the beginning, but then once you've figured that out, yeah, definitely you can go all in on the one main topic. So finish explore essentially that topic, and then you can move to the second best topic basically.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, so for the SaaS owners that are listening to this, from your experience, what advice would you have for balancing inbound and outbound marketing for best results?
I would say if you're a pretty new company, probably in the beginning, I will focus like 70% on inbound and 30% on outbound, right? Okay. Because inbound takes a lot of time, it's very slow. But then once the results start to compound, then it's exponential. So if you start with inbound, then you'll start to see some results. You can put more effort on the outbound, and then eventually you will get to the point where you're having some revenue in the door, and then you can move all the most of your efforts to the outbound as well. And then possibly you can hire somebody like me, for example, to do the inbound stuff or the links, because you will have the revenue generating from the inbound stuff that you've done in the past. So I would say start off with a like 70-30 inbound over outbound. And then once you start seeing some success, you can do 50-50. And then once you are ready and you want to really focus on making your product better, you can shift to hire somebody else to take care of that stuff. And another reason why it's always best to start doing like all of this yourself in the beginning is that you will be able to learn what works and what doesn't for your specific niche. Topics. You start to see the topic clusters that are winning for you, as I was mentioning before. So so you also know better what and how to outsource or delegate specific parts of the process to an agency or a freelancer or someone else. Perfect.
All right, so what would you say is the single biggest challenge you're experiencing right now with growing Growth Gorilla?
Yeah, so we've been growing quite a lot recently. We are now at like the max kind of like bandwidth of clients that we've ever had. Actually, the pandemic has actually been the best like 2 years for us. And that's like weird to say, but at the end of the day, more people have been working from home, so software has been going really well. So for everybody that's been working in SaaS, I think it's been a great like last 2 years. So for us now, the main challenge is we have more clients. We have to send more campaigns per month, because we also have clients that are publishing more articles per month as well, since they've been growing with us. So the challenge for us is to be able to send more campaigns. We need to have more people in the team, so we need to hire more people, and also being able to increase the speed and the quantity of the operations, but at the same time keeping the quality high as well, because we really want to focus on strategy and doing quality work. So that's been quite challenges for us lately.
But they're good challenges to have, aren't they? So
definitely.
Exciting times. That's great.
Yes.
All right, so what's your favorite business book?
So I would say my favorite all time that I've read when I was starting out is Built to Sell. I can't remember the name of the author now, but it's essentially
I do, John Warrillow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the book that got me into the idea of building a productized service, which is basically what we do. So yeah, niching down, focusing on one specific thing, and also being able to get to the point where you can delegate most of the client work and focus only on the operations, the sales, and the marketing, which is what I do now. So that's been great for me in the beginning. If I were to say some other books, I would say the E-Myth. That's another book on processes, under operating procedures. I'm very big on all those things. And then Traction was another good one for all the system that they use to plan with the big rocks and plan like moving backwards.
Gino Wickman. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And lastly, the last one that I want to mention that's not necessarily a business book is the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. That's been an amazing book for me, probably the best book that I've read last year, because it's essentially a mix of like business, but also life and like perspective, and it's very good. So I highly recommend that.
I haven't got that one. What's it called again?
It's called the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. So Naval is a huge like investor, and basically somebody picked like all the podcasts and the article and the tweets that Naval has done, and put them together in this book, which is like a collection of all his thinking, but it's very high level thinking that's very powerful, I would say. So yeah, super highly recommend that one.
Interesting. Okay. So what are you curious about or researching right now regarding SaaS or software in general?
Well, I'm always on the lookout for more like productivity tools. I'm a productivity nerd as well. So on one front, I'm always looking for new tools. I'm quite big now with Roam Research, is like a note-taking tool that kind of allows you to connect like all of your notes and ideas, because yeah, it's all interconnected essentially. It's very interesting. But also on the other front, I'm also trying to like scale down with the tools and go a little bit more like natural, right? So try to go like out of the house, especially because I work all day inside. Especially now with the pandemic, it's been kind of stressful sometimes. So yeah, I'm always looking for tools, but I'm now trying to scale down basically on the use of technology as well a little bit, to try and live life more fully as well. But yeah, the other thing I would say is crypto. I'm really interested in all of the thing that's happening with crypto and NFT. So there's a lot of software and tools in there that I'm starting to use as well.
Excellent. All right. So just to wrap up, where can people go to find out more about Growth Gorilla?
Yeah, so I would say the best place is the website, which is mygrowthgorilla.com. And then I'm on Twitter at Alan G Gorilla. And then, yeah, that's it, I would say.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for that. That was fantastic, Alan. Really appreciate those insights. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Scott. It's been great.
Take care.